Hi, I'm Colin.
I'm Chelsea.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Drew.
And we're the Gamesmiths, and we just got done playing Raid. We had a lot of fun playing your game. As far as the total aesthetic, everything, the boxing, it looks marvelous. We know this is a prototype for now, but I think you did a fantastic job. We had really fun playing your game. Chelsea wanted to dive in a little more about the design.
Yeah, well, also, first of all, we did mention the 4-player variant. We weren't able to get to that, but we did do the standard one-on-one as well as the draft one-on-one. So just in case you were wondering that from our playthrough videos. But yeah, the art I really, really enjoyed on this. It kind of gives me like some almost like Frozen vibes, like with the trees and stuff. And then obviously like the lore really ties into a lot of things that are really popular right now, such as, you know, Thor and things like that.
It's familiar. We played a Greek card game called Fleecing Olympus. It was kind of similar idea as far as like theming, and it was really fun to have it as Norse mythology instead.
Yeah.
I like that.
And the art, I mean, I feel like you could release this game as is already.
Definitely.
But there are some things that could be, you know, added to, such as like a different, like maybe image for each of the gods and things like that. But like, honestly, so far, like I would buy this game as is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it too. There were a lot of interesting decisions to make, and once you figured things out, there were a lot of like different moves and combinations, and there didn't seem to be. There were always interesting decisions to make, which I really appreciated. There didn't seem to be a lot of like things where you were just like really stuck. You had the rune cards, which I think were well designed for you to be able to deal some damage to yourself and get out of certain situations and kind of have that, you know, emergency out switch and stuff like that. Thought that was very cool. And like I was saying, you always had interesting decisions to make, whereas, you know, even a 10 didn't seem unbeatable. Like 10s felt very beatable.
Yeah.
You know, you could just combine 2 boats together and take out the 10. And, you know, there were a couple times where I got like, oh, I got 2 10s out there. Like, she's done for. And then she's just like, I'm going to steal that one. And now I've got 2 10s of my own. And then I got another boat, and now all your stuff is dead. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I guess not. Like, you know, like I figured I was pretty invincible once I had like 2 10s in hand. And that was the other cool, the amount of the amount of powerful cards I thought was well balanced too.
Yeah,
there was
great.
Enough in there that I felt.
You never felt like you were out of it.
Yeah.
The chances drawing 3 cards every time, maybe even more, depending on if you had one of the Norns that could draw an extra card.
Yeah,
you're just I had the experience of drawing a bunch of cards. I never felt like I couldn't do anything, and those 10s really made it seem like, oh, I don't have any now, but oh, I drew into one. Now I actually can do something, and I can even score with them. And there's so much. I could see so many varieties of different strategies you could play to accomplish your goal.
Yeah.
Like the first game, Chelsea and Ryan, they had a more defensive strategy. They didn't score as many points as Drew and I, where we just went for the points. We were like, 10, I don't care if it's still staying in this longbow.
Yeah.
I wanted to go and do 2 raid damage because it's big and I can get in there. Like, what are they going to do next? What is Drew going to do next turn? Is he going to just kill my 10 and what then? Like,
Yeah.
so it was fun, the different strategies I could see. We also wanted to go into your god cards.
Yeah. The guard cards were a lot of fun, but we felt that there's definitely like 2 tiers of power to them, which is fine. We feel that Freya, Thor, Hel, Fenrir, and Balder are kind of the more powerful ones. And we were just kind of thinking of, all right, if I'm going to play this, how many points does this kind of translate to? And Balder can stop you from taking 3 damage, so that kind of easily translates into about 3 points. But then
Like I had Odin,
Right.
which just you can pull a warrior out of Valhalla and replace it back to your hand. Which
Sure.
like, yeah, you
In the
can pull a 10
best scenario-
back,
That's
but
like
in the
drawing
best
a card,
scenario,
but,
that's like 2
searching
damage.
the graveyard. or-
Right.
Yeah.
If you get that back, yeah, right. So you get a card back, you use that card to kill, and then you attack with that card and get in for damage with it. You're right, probably
gonna do
2
2
damage.
maximum, probably.
And so like it just feels some of them feel a little underpowered as opposed to there was one that just takes one into your hand directly. Steal a warrior in play and place it into your hand. You're taking one directly
Loki.
from your opponent. Loki. You're taking one directly from your opponent, and then you're able to play it. Whereas Odin, you're taking one out of Valhalla, and then are able to play it. So there's just like compare those two directly to each other, and Loki almost seems strictly more powerful because it's taking something away from your opponent as opposed to taking something that was already off the battlefield.
Yeah.
All that being said, that's totally fine. You can have different powered gods. There is just a little bit of a risk of a feel bad for the people that are playing, especially the more you get to know the game. You're like, oh man, I got an underpowered card. And if you feel that you're in a fair matchup already, then maybe you feel behind right away. So we were thinking possibly
A 2/2.
2 or 3 cards. Well, either give the player 2 or 3 or more cards. Like, don't just give them one and say that's the one you get. Give them like 2 or 3 and let them pick the one that they want.
Yeah.
And that will kind of at least mitigate the you get a chance of getting at least one that you like, and you're not ever going to be stuck with the one that you think is the very worst.
Yeah. And it is like in your notes you said that it was that most people played it 2 out of 3, so I can see where you're going in that, like, okay, I got Odin this game. What am I going to get next game? Maybe I'll get Fenrir.
Or do you get the same one the next game?
Well, I think that you should probably put, like, that's kind of what we did for their next game is we just, like, put the gods that we played with aside so that
Yeah.
we knew that
Yeah.
these
we'd have
guys
a
were
little
going
more
to get
variance.
a different one. for
Yeah,
sure.
so maybe possibly, if you're doing best 2 out of 3, put the gods aside that were played last round so people don't get the same.
Yeah.
So that's it. There is, you could either spend time making sure these are all exactly balanced, which seems super difficult and not 100% necessary.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if people feel that they have some way to avoid like the real feel bad situation of like always getting their least favorite card or getting their least favorite card 2 times in a row. Just giving them some kind of mechanic
Yeah.
to
a god
to
draft
do that.
mechanic.
Yeah, or even possibly
Or
draft a
drafting
gods,
warriors,
Or
draft your
maybe
gods.
you just get to play with 2 or 3 gods. Or
or let
Half and
you
half.
throw
That'd
it
be cool.
throw it back for a random one too. Say like I don't like this one, so I'm going to put it back and I'll just take whatever's off the top of the deck.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily get to pick your best one, but
A
you
mulligan.
you can just get a mulligan. You say, you know what, not this time, not this one, and so and then a couple other things that we had that were just kind of some rule disambiguations.
Just a couple ambiguities. It wasn't 100% clear. We never really figured out if your warriors in your longboats should be arranged in descending order, 10, 9, 8, 7, and so forth. We ended up doing that because it seemed like the best way to, line up opposing longboats
And it
with
was-
the least headache.
And that was how all of your examples were. When you looked at all your example illustrations, you always had them ordered highest to lowest, but you never implicitly said that was the rule, that you had to do it that way. Because there are scenarios, if you don't have to, then I could have a 1 at the front of my boat and a 10 at the, a 1, a 10,
Right.
a 7, and a 6, and then my opponent would have to line up their stuff just right to do the attack kind of thing like
Right.
that, and it would change. So if that's allowed or not,
I liked it the way we played
yeah,
it.
I think it was
seemed
totally fine the way we played it. It just wasn't explicitly stated.
Yeah.
And most of the time, if you're going to be able to take out a boat, you're going to be able to take out a boat. There
Yeah.
wasn't a lot of
Yeah.
times when you actually went into attack that you're not just going to attack to lose your stuff. You want to score points. That's the point, is to do the raid damage. So the boats at the end of the day only matter to get you those points, and ordering them that way, I don't think it would make a difference either way.
And then the other thing that was ambiguous was when you're rearranging your warriors in a longboat to do blocks.
Or attacks, either way.
Or attacks, yeah, any asymmetrical. You can put your 0 next to your 1, but can you put a 2 next to your 1 and 0?
Right.
That's a bad
Yeah.
example.
How many can you stack sideways though? Can you only support 1 per warrior? So in a 4, I mean, you saw the scenario in our battle where I was attacking. I had 4 in my boat and Chelsea had 2 in hers, and I wanted to know if I could take all. I could go 1 to 1 and then 3 to 1 as my fight, or do I have to go 2 2 to 1 1? So you saw the scenario that came up when we were playing. Just make it clear in the rules specifically, is this allowed? You can support with as many as you'd like, or you can only support with 1 warrior.
And again, I think we made the right choice. I think what we did keeps it simple. It would just be hard to do the math in your head when someone can stack 3 people on one spot and get your guy and then Odin him out of the graveyard. Out of
And
Valhalla.
the other thing, the only other feedback, I do like the design and everything that you have here on the inside cover. It looks nice, but you could definitely have more useful information. I like everything you've got here with this whole minimalist aesthetic, and everything's perfect.
So good.
So don't add anything. But this is going to be, I think, the perfect spot for your reference sheet, where players are going to reference quick rules that they're confused by, which would either be how combat works or how the pairings work. 3 of a kind gets you this, 4 of a kind gets you this, 4 of all one color gets you this. I think that would be a better use of this space, explaining that here. So if there's a quick rules thing you have to look up, you just open the lid and go, oh, nope, there's the rule we need. But like I said, it looks great too. Yeah. But like I said, it all looks great. I would just say the contents of the box are not necessarily, especially after the first time that you open the game. I'd put the contents somewhere in here, and put, just on a page you have a little space on, even on the bottom of this first page, you can put the contents, just list them. So people do know. It is important to have it so people know that they got what they paid for, that they got everything that they should have. But I would use this for something else. You can even, But other than that, I think we all had a lot of fun with the game.
I'd buy it.
I think
I'd buy it off the shelf based on how it looks, based on how it played. If I were to go into a game shop, somebody was testing this, I'd say yes. I would be interested in buying this.
Not even a game shop. I would buy this at a with the packaging and everything. I would buy it at a Barnes and Noble, by the checkout.
Or a convention, anything
this
like
has much promise from games we've seen. I just really.
I like to call these log cabin games, because this is the kind of thing that
Easy
you would
to
put
take
in
with
your
you.
little it's easy to take with you. Everything's contained in one box. It's a nice package. Everything's there. It fits together. It packs up nicely.
No dice.
It travels nicely. Yeah, there's no dice. There's no loose pieces. Everything's there, and it's easy to teach someone who's never played before. I think we all picked it up. We made a couple rules mistakes here and there. We had the disambiguation questions that we had. We had the things where we're just we're not so sure about that.
But with an expert around,
But-
that
Right.
stuff is totally
Well,
mitigated.
so just add those to the rules, just so that
Well-
I would add those.
And like any game, it takes a couple of
yeah,
plays
yeah.
to
That's all I was saying.
get
We did make a
used to it,
few.
but-
We did make a few mistakes, but not a lot.
Yeah.
We probably made a few little mistakes here and there. But other than, just to say, we did all get it kind of the first time we played it. And second hands would go faster and be better. But it's a lot of fun. So maybe just clean up those rules a little bit. But other than that, you got a great game here. Thanks so much, and keep up the good work.